Welcome to Project Zion Podcast. This is your host, Robin Linkhart, and today I'm visiting with 4 Community of Christ apostles who support diverse areas of the church across the globe. Together, they will share a little bit about the unique church history in the nations they serve and how their people feel connected with sacred places in the church, both near and far. They will also share about how God is moving in the nations they support and the vision and hope they have for the future. Join me now as we spend time with Mareva, Carlos, Angela, and Catherine. I'm here now with Apostle Mareva Arnaut Chang, who supports the Pacific Asia Mission Field. She is also the president of the Council of 12. Mm-hmm. Welcome, Mareva. We're so glad to have you.
Merci, Robin.
I want to ask you a few questions today, and the first one is, what can you share about the unique church history in the nations that you serve?
So in the nations I serve, the unique history of the church is inherently connected to the arrival of faithful individuals from the Western world and the strong faith of our ancestors. The establishment of the church has often been the result of missionaries, local missionaries or believers from these Western cultures who brought with them their teachings and religious practices. And while deeply acknowledging and respecting the indigenous cultures and peoples of these nations when they arrived, where it was important, it is important to know that the influence of Western people has often overlaid certain ancient practices and beliefs. And as the church established itself in these regions, like in the Pacific or in the Asia, it brought a new religious perspective, often different from indigenous beliefs. So now I am quoting more about the history of the church in French Polynesia, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
It reflects a complex dynamic between introduced Western faith and the traditional spiritual practice of French Polynesia. Some aspects of local culture have been preserved and incorporated deeply in spirituality, while other ancient practices have sometimes been overshadowed or transformed. But it's essential to emphasize that this interaction between these beliefs has not been uniform or devoid of tensions. Local communities have often sought to find a balance between their traditional practices and the newly introduced faith. And it creates, of course, a unique history of the church presence in French Polynesia. So the power of the faith of the people is something I will always remind about the unique church history in the nation, and continual revelation. That's the correct way to say. Who is alive, and God speaking through the ages and to different people is today one of the other aspects. Really essential, because we are so different today than what we used to be in the past. We had to live through that experience. Maybe today the people will say, oh, the history of the church is really kind of colonialism. Maybe, depend in what aspects you are talking about. But we needed, I don't know, but it was our path. And that history makes us strong today. strange how our ancient practices were shadowed, let's say like that. But today we are open eyes with what God is calling us to be. We know that our culture is valued, our language, our way to sing, things we were prohibited in the past. We are now open to reflect on do or not doing, and it's really the richness of the history. So I think that's what I will share about the unique church history in these nations and in French Polynesia.
That's beautiful. And I love that rich tradition of story that you share with us, and a sense of coming full circle and embracing all of who you are, and living faithfully in the context of the story of the church as a whole. So, yeah, unity and diversity.
Yes.
We finally got scratched the surface. No. Yes.
And it's true, Robin, Apostle Robin, because when we began, we never asked questions. We really believed. It's deep in our stomach. I don't know how you say that, but in French it's in the stomach. We really believe. But after the same Western culture came and taught us, okay, reflect on yourself. So we were struggling with ourselves because we believe in a way, and suddenly they are explaining that God is calling us to be ourselves. So what's the meaning of that? But in all these steps till today we understand who we are, and we have the choice to express our faith. So, like you said, we made that journey a circle of new beginning each time. It's painful sometimes, it is tiring because we said, "Oh, just be easy. Tell us and let's go." But no, and today it's it's really wonderful to know that we can be who we are, and God is in the midst.
Yeah,
our Jesus can be brown or white, or it's not a question of color. It's just an image of. We can find Jesus everywhere.
I love that. So, how did the church begin there at the very beginning?
So the first missionary of the Saints Church arrived in 1844. So it's a long time. And they arrived on the island of Tupuai, Addison Pratt, Benjamin Grua, Noah Rogers. And first baptism, just the same year. Polynesian, most of them. And if I have to make short, we were really strong on the islands called the Tuamotu Archipelago. So today you will see that the majority of the Tuamotu Archipelago members are members of the church. So it's a lot of little islands. But because of French laws at a time, these missionaries, or all missionaries who are not French, they had to leave. So they left. And local, indigenous, faithful members stayed there. But in 1873, two missionaries of the reorganization came back, Wendell Charles and Roger. And when they arrived in Tahiti, just at the ferry boat, because they arrived by plane, by boat. But when they arrived there, they asked, "Are there sense, they call it sense, somewhere here. And the people there heard about the sense because the local indigenous continued to pray. And so they said, yeah, we heard about a group of people on this mountain called Te Paripari Heiri. And so they walked, they arrived there, they met the sense, and kind of, it's not a miracle, it's just a spirit thing, connection. And the reorganization took place. And that year, 1884, so another missionary arrived called Thomas, and we called him Tapati. He arrives in Tahiti, and officially he binds the sense of French Polynesia to be reorganized and connected with the church, called at that time Church of Joseph Smith, church here, the headquarters. And he rebaptized, really rebaptized all the saints, the ones who wanted to be in the reorganization. He went on all islands, one by one, until we are here. So we had, after that, a lot of missionaries who came. Most of them come from here, the United States. They were mission center, not mission center, but district, state, I don't know what's the name at that time, president. And we had high priests and bishops and priesthood local who were ordained, so it was good too. So there is this parallel, you know. And we had our first leaders, local leaders, and since we have only local leaders leading the church there.
Including their apostle. That's wonderful. I love that story. And so, Mareva, are there special sacred places or spaces that people feel connected with in light of this story of their history?
Oh, we. The land I mentioned, that land called Heiri, Te Paripari, the place where the saints were praying, singing, while waiting news, and where the reorganized, the missionaries of the reorganization came and met them there, is one of that place. We have a lot of sites also on islands where missionaries went, stayed, and passed away. We have few missionaries who passed away and they are still buried there. So it's not sacred. However, members are still taking care of these places. But the one I said, Te Paripari, is one who is important. However, today, because of the space, at that time you have all this huge space with trees, but today a lot of things, buildings are built around, and we have French laws too about the noise, so we can't really organize our big services on that site. So the site is kind of using for associations and for our own but small activities or by congregations. But even though it's still precious for the people, but I can see that they are open to, because they understand that this land is precious, however, not really for some, not useful for this time. So they are open to just see that the place, the most important, is in your heart, is where you are, where the presence of God, where you can share your mission, it's the most important. So at this time, land is still here, history on this land. I have a lot of memories since I'm a child till today. But I can see the shift in way to think about, we have that land, but we can't use it as we would like for mission. So what are we doing with that? It will take time, I'm sure, for many, but for others, they are ready. But we are a community-based, based people, so we will wait a little bit to see what God is asking us to do with that site.
Yeah. Did you have any last words you want to share with our listeners before we wrap this up?
It was my honor to give these little seeds of the history in the house, your family, the place where you are. And I'm sure we have common points. We have also unique and specific points in our history. But the beauty is that we are together in this journey. And I can't imagine doing this journey just by ourselves. We are not complete. So everywhere, wherever you are, whenever it is, we need you. We need all of us, and who like who we are, authentic, and let's continue to write the history, to create the story together.
Yes, I love it. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Mermaven. We really appreciate it, and thank you for sharing your story.
Merci beaucoup.
I am now here with Apostle Carlos Enrique Mejia, who supports the Central and South American mission fields.
Estoy aquí ahora con el apóstol Carlos Enrique Mejía, que apoya al campo de misión Centro y Sudamérica.
Carlos, we're so happy to have you with us today.
Carlos, estamos muy contentos de tenerte con nosotros hoy.
Es una bendición el poder compartir y gracias, hermano Robin, por esta invitación.
It's a blessing to be able to share, and thank you for sharing that invitation.
And we also have Esdras Hernandez with us to help us with our translations. Thank you, Esdras.
You're welcome.
Carlos, I have a few questions I want to ask you today, and then just let you share whatever you want to share in response to those.
Carlos, tengo unas preguntas que quisiera plantearle y usted puede responder conforme parezca mejor.
I'm really interested in what you can share about the unique church history in the nations that you serve and how the church got started.
Estoy muy interesada en saber acerca de la historia única de la iglesia en las naciones en las que usted sirve y cómo comenzó la iglesia allí.
And would love to hear about any special sacred places or spaces that the people of those nations feel connected with.
Y nos gustaría saber si hay lugares o espacios sagrados con los cuales las personas se sientan conectadas.
So just take it wherever you want to as you tell us the story.
Así que inicie como usted decida a medida que nos cuenta la historia.
Quizá es una historia que muchos la han escuchado, posiblemente.
Perhaps it's a story that many people has already heard.
Y es como nace la iglesia precisamente en Centroamérica, voy a decir.
And it is the story of how the church started in Central America.
Y esta es una historia muy especial por cómo inicia.
This story is very special because of the way it started.
En el año 1957, un médico miembro de la iglesia de aquí de Independence, Missouri,
in the year of 1957, a medical doctor, member of the church here from Independence, Missouri,
él fue diagnosticado con cáncer y parece que también fue desahuciado, decimos.
He was diagnosed with terminal cancer and he didn't expect to live for much longer.
Y él sintió la necesidad de de ir a un lugar que no conocía, a un lugar que no sabía dónde era, y tomó su familia, vendió todo aquí, y tomó su esposa, sus hijos, y salieron para Centroamérica.
So he felt the need to be in a very different place, a place he didn't know about or have never even heard about before. So he sold all his belongings and took his family back to Honduras.
Estuvieron en México un tiempo, pero no sintió el impulso del Espíritu Santo que allí era el lugar donde Dios quería que fuera.
He spent some time in Mexico, but he didn't feel the Spirit telling him that that was the place he should be.
Continuó en Guatemala, tampoco,
He went to Guatemala and also didn't receive any confirmation.
y llegó a Honduras.
And then he got to Honduras.
Cuando llegó a cierto lugar en Honduras donde hay un lago, sintió que ese era el lugar donde Dios le estaba enviando.
When he came across certain place in Honduras near a lake, he received the confirmation that that was the place he should be.
Y se establecieron con su familia, compraron una tierra y su esposa era maestra. Entonces empezaron a dar educación a niños, enseñar inglés, ella, y él a dar cuidado de salud a la gente de esa aldea.
So he settled his family there, they bought land, and his wife, being a teacher, a professor, she started teaching English to the population around, and he himself started practicing medicine for the people.
Y empezó también a desarrollar su obra evangelizadora y llevando el mensaje de salvación a las personas.
And so he started also the work of the Lord. He started evangelizing and bringing the good news to the people in that area.
Y llamaron a ese lugar La Buena Fe,
And that place was called La Buena Fe,
porque era una misión que estaban haciendo de corazón y de buena fe.
because the work they were doing, they felt they were doing them in good faith. In Spanish is La Buena Fe.
Empezaron a tener servicios de culto, estudios y precisamente el mensaje de la iglesia.
So they started holding worship services and Bible study and started communicating the message of the church.
Y empezó a crecer aquella relación con la gente y poco a poco fueron expandiéndose.
So relations and connections started to grow, and little by little the congregation started to spread.
Años después, él murió allí en ese lugar.
A few years later, he passed away in that place.
Y su funeral, su cuerpo está enterrado allí en una aldea cerca de La Buena Fe.
And he was buried in a place, in a town nearby that area.
Entonces, él, como un anciano, que era un ministro del sacerdocio anciano, tuvieron bautismos y todo esto, sacramentos.
Since he was an elder, he baptized people, and they also had worship services.
Entonces, se establecieron congregaciones y empezó la iglesia a crecer en Honduras.
So congregations were planted, and that's how the church started to grow in Honduras.
Jóvenes de aquí, de Estados Unidos, que tú le conoces, fue el primero, junto a otro joven también, que empezaron a formar el primer campamento de jóvenes hace 45 años.
So it was there that a couple of young people, to you that probably you know, started doing youth camps 45 years ago.
Y estoy hablando de David Brock.
And I'm talking about Dave Brock.
Yeah.
Ya. Entonces, la iglesia allí en Honduras nace de esa manera.
So that is how the church in Honduras was born there.
cómo se ha ido expandiendo en diferentes partes de Honduras, precisamente con personas que voluntarias que han estado dispuestas a servir y a predicar en otros lugares de Honduras.
So one may wonder how the church began to grow, and the answer to that question is that people who volunteer to go and do the work.
Entonces estoy hablando de que en 1957 nace la iglesia en Honduras.
So I'm saying that in 1957 the church was born in Honduras.
Luego de allí, de ese lugar, surge la iglesia en El Salvador, en Guatemala y en Nicaragua.
And from there, the church was established then in El Salvador, Nicaragua,
Y Guatemala.
and Guatemala.
Recuerdo que Eduardo Gay fue el hombre que también salió de allí para ir a Guatemala, para ir a El Salvador y establecer también la iglesia en aquella nación con el apoyo de otros miembros hondureños.
I remember Ed Guy that it was from Honduras that he started going to El Salvador and Guatemala, and with the help of other people, they started planting the church in all those countries.
Y después vamos, en ese entonces ya éramos un centro de misión en Centroamérica, vamos para establecer la iglesia en Nicaragua.
And then by that time, we were already a mission center, but it's from there that we go to establish the church in Nicaragua.
En donde ahora también tenemos congregaciones florecientes y es parte de la historia en Centroamérica.
Where we now have new congregations that are emerging, and it's part of the history of the church in Central America.
So Honduras was the mother church of all. It all came out of there.
Así es.
Entonces Honduras fue la congregación madre de toda la expansión en Centroamérica.
Exacto. Y tenemos la visión de Costa Rica también en el futuro.
And we have the vision of actually planting the church in Costa Rica in the future.
Ya. Referente a la pregunta 3, hay un lugar que es un lugar histórico, es uno de los lugares históricos de la Iglesia mundial.
Regarding the third question, there's a place that is one of the historical sites of the world church.
Porque es allí donde nació y tenemos ese campamento que se llama Campamento La Buena Fe.
And it's this campground called Campamento La Buena Fe.
Conservamos ese lugar. Hace unos años fue restaurado el edificio donde este doctor, este hermano y su familia edificaron la primera clínica allí, el primer edificio donde funcionó una clínica.
We kept this place, and we even refurbished the building where this first brother founded the first clinic in Honduras.
Wow. That sounds very important and meaningful for your people.
Eso pues parece ser muy importante y significativo para la gente allá.
Sí, porque hay tanta riqueza y a través de las generaciones hemos venido enseñando a nuestros miembros que ese lugar es el lugar donde nace y es un lugar que todos aprecian.
Yes, because it's such a rich place, and throughout generations we have taught all members the importance of that place for us.
Mm-hmm. Do you still hold camps and reunions and gatherings at that place?
¿Todavía tienen campamentos y reuniones campestres y otro tipo de reuniones en ese lugar?
Sí, con nuestros miembros, pero también el campamento lo hemos desarrollado y es un lugar que también lo rentamos a otras iglesias o a otras organizaciones para sus eventos.
Yes, but not only for members. Over time we have developed the place, and now we also kind of rent it as a conference center for other denominations.
Recuerdo que hemos edificado un auditorio aproximadamente para unas 1,000 personas, creo, en donde llamamos el Auditorio de la Paz.
We built an auditorium that can hold around 1,000 people, which we call the Peace Auditorium.
Y el hermano Steve Bisi tuvo la oportunidad y tuvimos la bendición de que estuviera para la dedicación de ese edificio, que es un legado que estamos dejando para las próximas generaciones también.
And Brother VC had the chance, and we had the blessing of having him come and dedicate the building that we are leaving as a legacy for future generations.
Entonces, para nosotros, así como aquellas personas que iniciaron en ese lugar, vinieron dejando un legado para nosotros, nosotros también estamos desarrollando y tratando de que ese legado crezca y crezca para futuras generaciones.
And just like those first people who came and left a heritage for us, we are also trying to develop the place and leave a heritage for the generations to come.
So as the Central and South American mission fields, and you as their apostle leading mission, is there anything you want to share with our listeners about the hope that you have for the future?
Entonces, usted como el apóstol del campo de Centro y Sudamérica, ¿hay algo que usted le quisiera compartir acerca de su esperanza y visión para el futuro?
La esperanza es algo que siempre debemos de tener hacia el futuro.
Hope is something we should always have when we look into the future.
Y queremos precisamente que las futuras generaciones, las actuales, se comprometan cada día más para poder continuar nuestra historia.
So my hope is that present generations and future generations may be committed in order to continue our history.
No queremos quedarnos en el lugar o en el donde estamos ahora, en el nivel que estamos, sino que continuar creciendo hacia otros lugares y creciendo en todo.
We don't want to remain kind of at the same place or the same level, stagnant if you will, but we want to grow into other places as well.
Well, Carlos, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Carlos, muchas gracias por compartir su historia.
You have brought inspiration and hope and getting to know the people of the church and the places that you serve.
Nos ha traído esperanza y alegría y una visión del futuro. ¿Cómo está usted trabajando con su gente?
Gracias por permitirnos contar esta historia, una de tantas. Gracias.
Thank you for letting us share this story, one of many.
Thank you, and thank you, Esdras. Well, I want to welcome a very special guest, Ángela Ramírez.
Quiero darle la bienvenida a una invitada muy especial, Ángela Ramírez.
And also our wonderful interpreter and translator, Esdras Hernandez of Mexico City, Mexico.
Y también a nuestro maravilloso traductor intérprete, Esdras Hernández de la Ciudad de México.
Ángela was ordained an apostle at the 2023 World Conference.
Ángela Ramírez fue ordenada apóstol en la Conferencia Mundial 2023.
And she supports Mexico, Texas, Dominican Republic, and Caribbean mission centers.
Y ella apoya los centros de misión México, Texas, República Dominicana y del Caribe.
Welcome, Ángela. Thank you for being here today.
Bienvenida, Ángela. Gracias por estar aquí.
Gracias por la invitación, hermana.
Thank you for having me.
Today, our topic consists of 3 questions. The first question is, what can you share about the unique church history in the nations you serve?
Nuestro tema de hoy consiste en 3 preguntas. La primera es, ¿qué puede compartir acerca de la historia particular de la Iglesia en las naciones en que usted sirve?
And the second question is, how did the church begin there?
Y la segunda pregunta es, ¿cómo comenzó la iglesia ahí?
And the third question is, are there special sacred places or spaces people feel connected with?
Y la tercera pregunta es, ¿hay lugares sagrados especiales o espacios especiales donde la gente se sienta conectada?
So, Angela, you had these questions before we met today.
Así que, Ángela, usted recibió estas preguntas antes de encontrarnos aquí hoy.
And I think it would be great to just give you time to respond to those questions in any way that you want to.
Y creo que sería bueno darle el tiempo necesario para que usted responda a estas preguntas de cualquier manera que considere apropiada.
Gracias, hermana. Pues comenzaré conversando sobre dónde vivo.
Thank you, sister. I will start by talking about where I live.
Iniciaré la conversación sobre la iglesia en la República Dominicana.
I will start my conversation about how the church started in Dominican Republic.
Y allá la iglesia comenzó a final de la década de los 70.
The church started there around the 80s. No, sorry. La década de los 70. Sorry.
That's okay.
The church started there in the decade of the 70s.
Y llegó por unos misioneros de Haití.
And it came to the country through missionaries that came from Haiti.
Luego la iglesia fue reconocida legalmente a principios de los 80.
Then the church was legally established at the beginning of the decade of the 1980s.
Estableciéndose primeramente en la zona este, específicamente en la Romana.
The church started specifically in the La Romana area.
Luego la iglesia fue expandiéndose y llegó San Pedro, Higüey.
Over time, the church grew and it grew towards the area of San Pedro.
Higüey.
Anyway, okay.
Higüey. Y ahora, ya en estos tiempos, está establecida en Santo Domingo, Constanza.
Okay, and nowadays it is established also in Santo Domingo, Constanza,
Santiago, San Juan.
Santiago, San Juan.
Y otras áreas que son congregaciones emergentes.
And several other areas that are emerging congregations.
Tenemos muchas congregaciones con muy vibrante.
We have several vibrant congregations.
Gracias al ministerio, al liderazgo de tantas personas que desde los inicios plantaron iglesias sólidas.
Thanks to the leadership and the work of several people who started planting church since the beginning.
Luego, en otros países, por ejemplo, tenemos nuestro centro de misión en México, Texas.
Now in other countries, we have the Mission Center, Mexico, Texas Mission Center.
En México, Texas, hace muchos años que se comenzó también la misión.
And the mission there has been going on for many years.
Y cuando se iniciaron los centros de misiones, algunas congregaciones de la frontera de Texas se unieron a México y forman un solo centro de misión.
So when mission centers were established, several congregations across the border from Mexico and the United States joined the Mexico Mission Center.
Es un centro de misión muy interesante porque es bilingüe.
It is a very interesting mission center because it's a bilingual mission center.
A veces las culturas son un poquito diferentes, pero se sobrellevan.
Sometimes cultures can be a little bit different, but you work around it.
Tenemos también la misión en Jamaica.
We also have mission in Jamaica.
Hemos tenido contacto con los líderes de Jamaica, reuniones, y también son congregaciones muy, muy vibrantes.
We've been in contact with the Jamaica mission, and they have also very vibrant congregations, and we have been also gatherings. And
tenemos una congregación muy interesante en Gran Caimán.
We have a very interesting congregation in Grand Cayman.
Y ahí los hermanos, no he ido todavía a Gran Caimán, pero he tenido muchas reuniones y conversaciones con los líderes principales de allí.
I have not yet visited Grand Cayman, but we have had several meetings and conversations with leaders there.
Ya para este verano tenemos pautado en colaboración con unos jóvenes de la Universidad de Graceland.
So for this year, we have planned with several youths from Graceland University.
Ellos van a impartir una escuela bíblica de verano.
We have planned to have a summer school there.
Es muy interesante.
So
muy interesante compartir en este campo.
So it's very interesting to work in that field.
It sounds very interesting. And the land, the geography that you visit are beautiful places.
Sí, suena muy interesante, y la tierra, las áreas en las que usted trabaja son lugares muy hermosos.
Y estas congregaciones, mi campo, aunque hay lugares que no he ido, pero sí en las conversaciones que hemos tenido, es interesante ver que para ellos es sumamente importante las edificaciones.
So, even though I have not been there personally, through conversations and working with them, it shows, I have understood that for them something that is very important are the buildings.
Para ellos ir a la congregación, tener su espacio físico como iglesia, edificio, para ellos es como su espacio sagrado.
For them, in order to have gatherings, it is very important to have a physical space. For them, it's their sacred space.
Mm-hmm.
Aunque no dejamos de reconocer que tenemos una iglesia virtual en mi campo.
Although we cannot forget that we also have a virtual congregation in my field.
Sí, la República Dominicana tiene el proyecto de una iglesia virtual con la diáspora de Nueva York.
The Dominican Republic Mission Center has a project of a virtual congregation with a group in New York.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Sí, luego en los tiempos de pandemia, queríamos tener esa conexión, y la verdad es que ha sido muy, muy interesante.
During the pandemic times, we were very interested in having this connection with expats living in that area. So it's been very interesting.
Nos reunimos cada martes.
We gather every Tuesday.
Y es un servicio, cada martes hay algo diferente.
And every Tuesday, every gathering, we have something different.
Y la gente participa muy, muy, muy bien.
And people participate very enthusiastically.
So the connection with the expatriates in New York has continued after the pandemic?
Entonces, ¿la conexión con la diáspora ha continuado después de la pandemia?
Sí. Y tenemos un proyecto, estamos afianzando ideas para visitas, posibles visitas.
Yes, it continued, and we are also making plans for a possible visit in the future.
Y a veces se unen personas de otros países también, no solamente la diáspora de Nueva York, sino también de otros lugares que se les dificulta ir a su congregación con frecuencia y nos conectamos por Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And it also happens that it's not only the expats living in New York. Sometimes we have other people from other congregations that are not able to attend their local congregation as often as possible. They also connect through Zoom.
So that's been a wonderful blessing.
Así que esto ha sido una gran bendición.
So, Angela, did you have anything else you'd like to share with us today?
Entonces, Ángela, ¿tiene usted algo más que le gustaría compartir con nosotros hoy?
Sí, me gustaría compartir que de todo este tiempo, estamos como iglesia llamadas a mirar más allá del horizonte.
Yes, throughout this time, we are called as a church to look beyond the horizon.
Mirar al futuro con esperanza.
To look towards the future with hope.
Sabiendo que Dios está con nosotros.
Knowing that God is with us.
Y que seguirá hoy, mañana y siempre.
And that He is with us today, tomorrow, and always.
Amen, sister. Thank you so much for being with us.
Amén, hermana. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros.
Un placer.
A pleasure.
And thank you, Esdras.
Thank you.
I'm here now with Apostle Catherine Mambwe, who supports the West, South, and East Africa mission field. Thank you so much for being with us today, Catherine.
Yeah, I'm very happy too.
Well, Catherine, today many apostles from across the globe have shared stories with us from the nations they serve and how the message and mission of Community of Christ came to be planted in their areas in ways that took root and became vibrant expressions of our denomination and our movement. And even today, as the church lets go of deeply meaningful historic sites, it has been renewing and enriching to hear the unique stories of the church in other parts of the world. I know that our listeners' hearts, along with mine, are filled with hope as we hear these testimonies of how God is living vibrantly through faithful disciples who are living their whole lives and becoming shining lights of Christ's peace. Catherine, what words of affirmation might you have for us today?
Thank you very much for giving me this rare opportunity. On behalf of the people I serve, I am deeply sorry for those who feel a great loss. I do understand how tough this decision to sell was. Letting go of something with sentimental value can be incredibly difficult to handle. I, personally, only visited the Nauvoo, not Kirtland. I have read the historical books of how these places came to be and the part they play in our collective history. I and the people I serve are more connected to the Independence Temple. Our people visited often and were part of its dedication. The great connection to its, not only its beauty, but the ministry that happens here. The deep meaning of the worshipper's path and the labyrinth. Like our church ancestors in Kirtland, we also have pieces of ourselves built into this temple. Our offerings of little bits of wood make up the cross in the temple foyer. We also love and are dear to the ministries of the temple. Doctrine and Covenants 156, 5a to d reminds us why it was dedicated. A symbol of peace, education, wholeness, reconciliation, and healing of the spirit. As people of the temple, we live out the ministries of the temple in so many ways. Back home, we worship together. We do discipleship formation. We care about one another. And in most cases, we have projects we do together. For the women, they do the soap making, they do the sewing, and so many things which can bring peace into their lives. We are people who live in that connectedness. Whatever we do things together to connect us. And when we do that, we bring peace to ourselves. My hope is that our history will continue to be told and shared in all the places we live and serve around the world. Our heritage, for the stories of our people, are a witness to God and provide blessing to the world. We will continue to write the page of that story into the future as we share Christ's peace in all the places that we live. Thank you so much for sharing this with me.
And thank you, Catherine, for being with us today and giving us a little window into the lives of the people that you love and serve and support. Take good care, and we'll see you next time. That brings us to the end of our time together, folks. I want to once again thank our guests, Mareva, Carlos, Angela, and Catherine, for making time to share their stories with us. And extra special thanks to our interpreter, Esdras Hernandez. As always, our thanks to all of you, our listeners. If you would like to hear more about this new chapter in Community of Christ Story, look for links to more information in the show notes. This is your host, Robin Linkhart, and you are listening to Project Zion Podcast. Go out and make the world a better place. Take care. Bye-bye.